In this story, you'll embark on a calm and thoughtful journey to ancient Rhodes, finding yourself at the center of a significant historical event, the earthquake that destroyed the legendary Colossus of Rhodes. The narrative will allow you to experience everything as if you were an eyewitness. You'll move from a peaceful morning before the disaster to a profound realization that even humanity's greatest creations are temporary and fragile. The story immerses you in subtle sensations and vivid imagery, inviting you to reflect on humility in the face of nature's power and humanity's endless ability to rebuild and start anew. But before you get comfortable, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which city you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always fascinating to see who has joined us. Now settle in comfortably. We're about to begin. You awaken gently, your eyelids fluttering open as the early morning sunlight filters softly through the thin linen curtains covering your window. The warmth touches your cheek, nudging you from sleep, welcoming you back into the waking world with an easy grace. Slowly, deliberately, you rise from your simple bed and plant your bare feet onto the cool stone floor. For a brief moment, you savor the delightful contrast between the warmth of the sunlight on your face and the refreshing coolness underfoot. Stretching your arms above your head, you allow yourself a leisurely yawn, feeling the sleepiness gradually dissipate like morning mist over the sea. Outside your window, you hear the faint rustle of olive branches stirred by a gentle sea breeze, mixed with distant cries of seagulls circling lazily above the port. Everything about this morning feels serene and pleasantly ordinary, each detail precisely as comforting and familiar as the day before. You step toward the window, gently pushing the linen curtain aside, and gaze out across the rooftops of Rhodes toward the vastness of the Aegean Sea. The blue waters shimmer beneath the morning sun, an endless expanse stretching to the horizon. Fishing boats float gently, small and distant, their white sails looking like miniature clouds drifting lazily upon the water's surface. Your gaze inevitably shifts toward the entrance to the harbor, where he stands, the Colossus of Rhodes, magnificent and seemingly eternal. Even from your vantage point, the giant bronze statue shines brilliantly in the sunlight, as though forged from liquid gold rather than bronze. His proud form towers over the harbor, feet firmly planted on massive pedestals, straddling the entrance as if guarding the city from all harm. You've spent countless mornings like this one, silently admiring the statue's grandeur, marveling at the craftsmanship of those who labored years to create it. Yet today, there is something especially striking about the Colossus. Perhaps it is simply the clarity of the morning air, the perfect angle of the sun, or the unusually calm waters reflecting light back toward his polished form. But the statue appears even more vibrant, even more alive. You find yourself lingering at the window, transfixed by the way the sun glides over his muscular form, revealing each intricately sculpted detail: the proud chest, the determined set of his jaw, the gentle yet confident way he holds the torch aloft, welcoming sailors home from voyages afar. Eventually, you tear your gaze away and decide to begin your day. After dressing in loose linen garments, light and comfortable against the promise of heat later in the day, you step outside, feeling the warmth of the morning sun greet you again. Your neighborhood slowly awakens around you, and familiar scents fill the air: the sharp aroma of olives, freshly pressed olive oil, warm bread baking in clay ovens, and the salty tang of the sea never far away. Walking down the narrow, winding street toward the central marketplace, you nod politely to neighbors stepping out onto their doorsteps. They smile back, greeting you with warm, sleepy voices. Children play quietly, chasing shadows and giggling softly as their mothers gently remind them not to wander far. The city feels peaceful this morning, almost dreamlike in its tranquility, a comforting routine repeating itself just as it has every day you can remember. You pause momentarily to speak with the elderly potter, whose shop you often frequent. He sits outside, slowly and meticulously shaping clay pots beneath fingers worn smooth by decades of practice. He greets you with an affectionate nod, never pausing his careful work, yet engaging you easily in conversation about the beauty of today's weather, the quality of his clay, and small news of family and neighbors. Continuing onward, you pass stalls displaying vibrant produce, fruits and vegetables, radiant in their variety of colors, are arranged in careful rows by merchants who call softly to passing patrons. Your hand brushes lightly over plump figs, ripe olives, clusters of grapes, and fresh pomegranates that seem to glow red beneath the sunlight. You take in the fragrance, savoring the scent of sun warmed fruit and earthy spices that fills your senses. In a moment of quiet contemplation, you glance back toward the harbor. The Colossus remains visible, a reassuring presence, ever watchful. His stature symbolizes the strength and prosperity of Rhodes, a daily reminder of the city's resilience and achievements. A fisherman walks past you, net slung over his shoulder, whistling gently, and you feel a deep sense of contentment. Eventually, you settle onto a shaded stone bench beneath the leaves of a fig tree, close enough to the market to still hear the murmured conversations of vendors and customers, yet far enough removed to simply observe. A gentle breeze carries with it soft whispers of the sea and hints of blooming flowers, mingling pleasantly with the comforting aromas from nearby cooking fires. Your heart beats slowly, contentedly, matching the easy rhythm of life around you. As you sit quietly, you notice the gentle hum of everyday existence, a comforting tapestry woven from simple moments. Fishermen carry baskets of freshly caught fish from the port. Children help their parents prepare meals, and shopkeepers exchange greetings. Above it all, standing watch, is the majestic Colossus, unchanging, dependable. It is easy to believe he will stand forever, an eternal guardian of your beloved city. The sun climbs slowly higher in the sky, warmth deepening into the rich heat of midday. You decide it is time to return home, feeling refreshed by your leisurely morning. Retracing your steps through the market, you greet merchants and neighbors again, your pace unhurried. Rhodes feels particularly vibrant today, alive, stable, untouched by trouble or worry. Your heart swells with pride and affection for your home, your city, your people. As you approach your home once more, you pause briefly to glance back over your shoulder. From here, you can see only the torch of the Colossus, still glowing softly under the midday sun. The bronze glints reassuringly, symbolizing everything you hold dear: safety, stability, and continuity. Unaware of what tomorrow holds, you step back into your house, comforted by the day's gentle routine. You spend the rest of the afternoon tending to familiar tasks, preparing meals, tidying your home, perhaps reading a few lines from an old scroll. When evening finally comes, you step outside once more, standing quietly in the twilight, watching stars slowly appear in the velvet sky. The statue, still visible, takes on a silvery sheen under moonlight, majestic even in darkness. Feeling deeply at peace, you return inside, prepare yourself for rest, and soon drift off into gentle sleep. Your dreams tonight are soft, undisturbed, serene. The world you know remains as it has always been, secure and comforting, watched over by the ever present guardian who, you are certain, will never falter or fail. But tomorrow, unknown to you now as you sleep, will bring change. You awaken again the next morning to the sound of gentle rustling leaves, the familiar whisper of the breeze brushing softly through the olive trees outside your window. For a moment, the peaceful rhythm of life on Rhodes feels perfectly unchanged, secure in its routine. You lie still, your body warm beneath soft linen sheets, quietly savoring the tranquil start to another ordinary day. Yet, even as your eyes slowly open, something feels subtly different, though you cannot quite understand what. Perhaps it is the unusual quietness outside your window. The birds seem to be holding their breath, and even the distant sea sounds unusually subdued. You rise slowly, shaking away the lingering haze of sleep, and place your feet gently on the stone floor. Still, nothing seems clearly wrong, just faintly unusual, and you brush aside this passing uncertainty as the remnants of dreams clinging briefly to your waking mind. After a moment spent breathing deeply, steadying yourself, you dress slowly, deliberately, choosing the soft linen robes that will protect you comfortably against the rising heat of another summer day. You step toward your door and push it open gently, allowing the morning air to rush softly into your home, carrying with it the scents and sounds of Rhodes. Stepping out onto the quiet street, you notice how strangely empty it feels this morning. Normally, by now, your neighbors would be bustling softly about their daily tasks, sharing greetings and quiet laughter. But today, the street is nearly silent, and the usual comforting background noise of human voices is conspicuously absent. You walk slowly, attentively, along the familiar route toward the main square, senses alert to every small detail. Your sandals scrape lightly against the stones underfoot, their sound unusually loud in the quiet streets. Along your path, You see several neighbors gathered in small groups, speaking quietly in hushed, uneasy voices. Their expressions betray uncertainty, a sense of vague confusion or worry that you begin to share. Reaching the main square, you pause and look around slowly. The square itself, normally bustling with morning vendors and early shoppers, is nearly empty. Only a few merchants have set up their stalls, each glancing nervously around, clearly feeling the same sense of unusual stillness in the air. Standing in the gentle sunlight, you close your eyes momentarily and breathe deeply, trying to recapture yesterday's comfortable calm. Yet the uneasy stillness continues to press upon you, making the air feel strangely thick, tense, as though waiting for something yet unseen. Just as you begin to turn back toward your home, a quiet murmur suddenly ripples through the square. You pause, listening carefully. Beneath your feet, barely perceptible, you feel a slight, gentle trembling, so subtle at first you almost wonder if you're imagining it. But as you stand still, holding your breath, the trembling returns, slightly stronger this time, as though the earth itself is quietly stirring beneath you. Around you, other people begin to glance uneasily at one another. A woman nearby quietly whispers something, her voice tight with uncertainty. An elderly man gently places his hand upon a wall as if to reassure himself of stability. You remain calm, though your heart beats slightly faster and your senses heighten, sharply aware of every tiny movement, every faint sound. The earth beneath you trembles again, more distinctly now, vibrating gently through your bones. You feel the cobblestones shift slightly, almost imperceptibly, beneath your feet. Though still mild, the sensation awakens an instinctive awareness of the fragility of the city around you, the ancient stone buildings, the carefully constructed streets, the proud statues, all vulnerable to the gentle power now stirring quietly beneath the island's surface. For a few moments, the tremors pause, leaving behind a fragile silence that feels oddly tense, expectant. You lift your gaze upward instinctively, looking toward the harbor, your eyes finding the familiar figure of the Colossus standing tall against the brightening sky. Yet, even as you seek reassurance in his steady presence, you feel an odd sense of unease ripple through you. Today, the statue's posture seems strangely vulnerable, less secure, as though subtly reflecting your own sudden awareness of life's delicate balance. As if responding to your inner thought, the earth shudders once more, sharply this time, accompanied by a low, distant rumbling that seems to rise up from deep within the ground itself. The square comes alive with startled exclamations, hushed gasps, and nervous whispers. People around you grip tightly onto one another or reach instinctively for walls, seeking stability against the tremors. Yet you remain carefully calm, rooted in place, silently observing the shifting world around you. You listen carefully, hearing the faint sounds of pottery softly clinking together, subtle groans from buildings shifting slightly in response to the earth's gentle movement. The sky above remains bright, tranquil, unchanged, seemingly oblivious to the quiet drama unfolding beneath. Yet the feeling of unease continues to grow slowly within you, settling into your chest, a subtle tension echoing the earth's vibrations. After several minutes, the tremors fade once more, leaving behind an unsettled quietness. People around you exchange hushed words of confusion and worry, their eyes filled with cautious uncertainty. You observe them quietly, sensing how the familiar comfort of their everyday lives has suddenly been disrupted, replaced by a quiet, cautious vigilance. Slowly, you make your way back toward home, walking deliberately, feet carefully placed upon each stone. You note subtle signs of disturbance along the way, a crack now visible in the plaster wall of a neighbor's home, fragments of pottery gently scattered along the ground. These small details amplify your awareness of change, reminding you how quickly the familiar can become uncertain, even as your surroundings remain outwardly serene. Returning to your house, you step carefully inside, feeling slightly relieved by the stability of familiar walls around you. You pause briefly, leaning gently against the cool stone, breathing quietly to steady your heartbeat. The air feels thick with an unfamiliar heaviness, yet beneath it remains a lingering hope that this morning's tremors were simply a mild disturbance already fading into memory. Stepping toward your window again, you look outward, drawn instinctively toward the harbor, seeking reassurance in the familiar silhouette of the Colossus. Yet now, despite the brightness of the sunlight, the statue seems somehow distant, isolated. His bronze form gleams beneath the sun's gaze, yet he no longer feels as eternal, as unyielding as he did just yesterday. You stare quietly, thoughtfully, wondering if the subtle tremors this morning hint at something larger, yet unseen. For now, though, the world returns to stillness, leaving only a fragile sense of uncertainty behind. You take a slow, deliberate breath, reminding yourself that today remains peaceful, that life continues gently forward. Yet deep inside, you sense that the subtle, nearly imperceptible shifts beneath your feet are merely whispers of something more profound, quietly preparing to unfold. You remain watchful, quietly awaiting whatever the day might bring next. The midday sun has climbed high above Rhodes, illuminating the city with a clarity that makes every stone seem polished and every shadow sharply defined. Standing by your window, you gaze out toward the harbor once more, observing carefully, noting how life around you has cautiously returned to something approaching normal. Fishermen have resumed their tasks by the shore, merchants have slowly reopened their stalls, and neighbors exchange careful smiles, gently reassuring each other despite the lingering unease. Yet the sense of peace feels fragile, held together delicately like spun glass. You cannot shake the subtle tension still vibrating in your bones from the earlier tremors. Your thoughts drift repeatedly to the strange vulnerability you perceived earlier in the great bronze statue that guards your city. Even now, beneath the steady glow of midday, the Colossus appears strangely subdued, diminished somehow, as though awaiting a destiny you cannot yet see. Restlessness stirs within you. Deciding that movement might ease the lingering tension, you step outside once more, this time walking slowly toward the harbor itself. Each footstep is deliberate, careful, as though you fear disturbing the city's fragile equilibrium. You move through familiar streets, beneath arched doorways, and along narrow alleyways lined with buildings constructed from ancient stone, mindful of their silent strength, yet conscious now of their hidden fragility. Reaching the edge of the harbor, you pause and lift your gaze slowly upward, eyes drawn inevitably to the Colossus. He stands directly above you now, towering high into the sky, bronze skin gleaming like polished amber beneath the sunlight. From this angle, he appears impossibly grand, his muscular form dominating your field of vision, casting a long, comforting shadow across the shimmering waters of the harbor below. Yet, even as you stand beneath his towering presence, you feel the ground stir gently again, a faint trembling rising quietly from deep beneath your feet. Your heart quickens instinctively, your breath momentarily catching in your chest. Around you, the murmured conversations of fishermen and merchants falter, replaced by uneasy silence. All eyes turn instinctively upward, sensing something significant is about to unfold. Suddenly, another tremor rises sharply from deep within the earth, stronger than before. Beneath your feet, the cobblestones shift noticeably, sending gentle ripples of instability through your body. Your balance wavers briefly, and instinctively you reach out, steadying yourself against the rough, reassuring surface of the nearest stone wall. Above, you hear a quiet creaking sound, a slow, eerie noise resonating softly through the air. Your gaze snaps upward, immediately drawn back toward the towering colossus. You see, with a clarity that seems almost unreal, tiny fractures appearing subtly along the base of one massive bronze leg. The statue, for centuries an unwavering guardian, shifts ever so slightly, as though gently struggling to maintain balance. Time slows, stretching each moment into quiet eternity. Your heart beats powerfully in your chest, and each breath fills your lungs slowly, deliberately. You watch transfixed, unable or unwilling to look away, as the great statue gently sways, caught between the pull of gravity and its centuries old foundation. The sky around it seems impossibly blue, brilliant and clear, untouched by the quiet drama unfolding below. Then, inevitably, almost gently, another powerful tremor rises from the earth, a deep, resonating vibration that feels both slow and unstoppable. This tremor pulses through your body, rattling your bones and shifting the very stones beneath you. You brace instinctively, steadying your feet against the trembling ground, never tearing your gaze from the spectacle unfolding above. The colossus sways slowly, solemnly, like a great ship caught by a quiet wave. You see the fractures deepen, tiny fissures spreading with deliberate slowness upward along the statue's proud legs. The bronze itself groans softly, a quiet and mournful sound echoing through the square, silencing the gathered crowd, each person holding their breath, transfixed by the majestic tragedy unfolding before them. You watch carefully, feeling no panic, only a deep, almost surreal calmness, a respectful silence within your soul. The statue, whose proud form had symbolized the strength and permanence of Rhodes for generations, now quietly surrenders to the irresistible force of nature. You sense no violence in its descent, only solemn inevitability, as though it willingly accepts the end of its era. Slowly, almost gracefully, the Colossus begins its fall. You watch as the immense bronze figure leans forward, momentarily seeming almost to hesitate, suspended in gentle uncertainty. The statue's proud chest tilts toward the shimmering harbor waters, its arms poised as though reaching quietly toward an unseen destiny. Every detail etches itself vividly into your memory, the sunlight glinting across polished bronze skin, the silent dignity of the statue's expression, the profound quietness enveloping the entire city. Then the moment passes, and gravity completes its task. The Colossus descends softly at first, gaining momentum as its massive form tilts irrevocably downward. The bronze limbs stretch toward the harbor, casting elongated shadows across buildings and faces of people frozen in awe. Your breath releases quietly, gently, your heart beating slowly, respectfully, accepting this moment of profound transformation. The statue's impact arrives almost quietly, a deep, resonant sound rather than an explosive crash. Bronze limbs and torso settle gradually upon the earth and sea alike, sending soft waves rippling gently outward through the harbor waters. A cloud of fine dust rises lazily from the disturbed ground, shimmering briefly golden beneath the sun before slowly drifting away, carried quietly on the sea breeze. The silence afterward feels thick, profound, heavy with collective wonder and sorrow. People around you begin breathing once more, whispering quietly, voices hushed in respectful awe. You step forward, your sandals now softly crunching fragments of stone and bronze scattered gently along the ground. Your heart remains calm, thoughtful, accepting the change. Looking carefully at the fallen Colossus, you note the quiet beauty in his ruin, the poetic dignity remaining even as he lies humbled. Bronze limbs rest peacefully against stone, the statue's face gazing upward, expression serene beneath the sunlight. The harbor water gently laps at its edges, embracing the fallen guardian tenderly, as though quietly comforting him in his repose. Around you, the people of Rhodes gather slowly, quietly, reverently. You sense their sorrow, their loss, mingled with acceptance and respect. The fall of the Colossus feels neither chaotic nor violent, but instead deeply moving, profoundly symbolic, a gentle reminder of impermanence, humility, and resilience. As you stand among the ruins, you feel the city's collective heart beating in rhythm with yours. The earth beneath your feet grows quiet once more, its trembling stilled for now. You breathe deeply, slowly, respectfully honoring this historic moment, feeling both sadness and wonder. Your eyes rise slowly toward the vast, clear sky, noticing how beautifully untouched it remains, silently observing the fallen symbol of human aspiration below. You realize quietly, thoughtfully, that the city's strength resides not in its statues or structures, but in the resilience of its people. Rhodes remains alive, breathing, ready to rebuild, ready to embrace change. The Colossus lies gently, respectfully upon the earth, fallen, yet eternally noble. As the dust settles softly upon the fallen bronze form of the Colossus, you stand quietly, still deeply immersed in the gentle solemnity of the moment. The afternoon sun bathes Rhodes in warm golden hues, softly illuminating the scattered debris across the harbor. Gradually, the sense of surreal stillness surrounding you deepens, becoming a profound silence unlike anything you've experienced before. Around you, people stand motionless, their eyes wide with quiet disbelief and wonder. You can almost hear the collective heartbeat of the city, pulsing gently yet powerfully beneath this new, unexpected quietness. The gentle breeze drifting from the sea now feels cautious, respectful, brushing softly across your face, as though careful not to disturb the fragile stillness of this transformative moment. Slowly, almost hesitantly, you begin to walk through the square, your sandals brushing gently against scattered fragments of stone, bronze, and clay. The city's familiar contours appear subtly changed, reshaped by the fallen form of the great statue. You move softly, deliberately, your eyes carefully tracing each detail of the scene, each fallen fragment now woven delicately into the tapestry of Rhodes's history. As you walk, you notice small groups of people gathering quietly along the edges of the square. Their whispered conversations are hushed, thoughtful, resonating with both sadness and resilience. You sense an unspoken agreement among the residents, a quiet understanding that this event marks the closing of one chapter and the gentle opening of another, still uncertain yet filled with quiet potential. Continuing onward, you approach the edge of the harbor itself, pausing thoughtfully beside the water's edge. The sea, in sharp contrast to the earlier tremors, now gently caresses the shoreline, its calmness restored. Its surface reflects fragments of bronze scattered near the waterline, shimmering softly, creating delicate reflections that seem to dance quietly upon the tranquil waves. Even the sea appears contemplative, gently embracing the broken pieces of history resting in its embrace. You kneel softly by the water, gently picking up a small fragment of bronze. Its smooth, polished surface feels warm beneath your fingertips, warmed by the midday sun. Turning the fragment carefully in your hand, you contemplate the countless generations of craftsmen, artists, and laborers whose effort and dreams were poured into creating something so grand, now humbled by nature's quiet power. You feel a soft pang of respectful sadness, yet beneath it remains a quiet sense of acceptance and reverence. Rising again, you continue your slow walk around the harbor, noting quietly how the gentle destruction has subtly reshaped familiar landmarks. Buildings bear delicate cracks along their walls, yet stand resilient. Fishing boats gently bob along the dock, seemingly untouched, rocking softly with the rhythm of the sea. Even as the Colossus lies fallen, Rhodes remains alive, quietly resilient beneath the afternoon sun. Eventually, your slow wandering leads you back toward the heart of the city. Here, familiar streets feel altered by a hushed vulnerability, each building quietly testifying to its own resilience in the face of change. Your neighbors have emerged from homes and shops, slowly resuming daily activities, though now with cautious respect, carefully mindful of each step they take, each quiet conversation they share. As you pass gently through familiar neighborhoods, you hear soft murmurs of reassurance, neighbors quietly checking on one another, voices gently reaffirming shared bonds of community and compassion. Your heart feels comforted by this quiet resilience, the subtle strength emerging naturally from the gentle humility brought by the day's events. Stopping for a moment beneath the shade of a large olive tree, you observe a family nearby quietly gathering broken pottery scattered by the tremors. They carefully collect the fragments, voices gentle, calm, softly reminding each other that pottery, like all things, can be reshaped, remade. Their quiet optimism resonates within you, a gentle reminder of life's capacity to heal, to rebuild, even amid unexpected upheaval. Continuing your slow journey home, you pass a small group of elderly residents sitting quietly outside their homes, watching carefully as younger neighbors begin gently clearing debris from the streets. You catch fragments of their hushed conversation, words rich with wisdom and quiet acceptance, affirming that change is inevitable, that loss is quietly balanced by growth, and that every ending quietly signals a new beginning. As late afternoon begins softly shifting toward evening, you return to your own doorstep, pausing quietly before stepping inside. Turning slowly, your eyes once again drift toward the fallen Colossus in the distance, still gleaming softly beneath the fading sunlight. Now, in repose, the great statue appears quietly dignified, at peace, its fallen form embodying both human aspiration and the quiet grace of acceptance. Stepping gently inside your home, you feel the comforting familiarity of your surroundings soothe the lingering tension within you. The walls stand solid, quietly reassuring, softly reminding you that, though changed, the world around you remains stable enough to support new beginnings. You take a slow, deliberate breath, releasing the quiet heaviness that has settled within your chest, gently accepting the day's events as part of life's continuous ebb and flow. As evening approaches, the city around you remains quietly subdued, yet gently hopeful. You prepare a simple meal, its aromas softly filling your home, quietly comforting your senses. Eating in contemplative silence, you savor each bite, allowing the gentle familiarity of simple nourishment to soothe you further, quietly reaffirming life's continuous rhythm. Later, stepping once again outside into the approaching twilight, you notice how gently darkness falls tonight, as though careful not to disturb the city's quiet introspection. The sky slowly deepens from rich gold to gentle indigo, stars softly appearing, twinkling quietly above the city. Your eyes drift once more toward the harbor, where the fallen Colossus now appears softly silhouetted against the quiet sea, gently illuminated by moonlight. You stand quietly beneath the vast, star filled sky, breathing softly, feeling deeply connected to the city's quiet heartbeat. The silence, profound and respectful, surrounds you comfortably, gently reminding you that even amid unexpected events, life continues softly onward, reshaping itself gently, adapting quietly to every new circumstance. In this peaceful stillness, you understand something profound. Though the Colossus no longer stands guard above Rhodes, the city's true strength quietly resides within its people, their resilience, their quiet dignity. The silence that follows today's gentle upheaval feels respectful, meaningful, a quiet recognition of the delicate balance between permanence and change, strength and vulnerability. Slowly, thoughtfully, you step back into your home, preparing once more for gentle rest. As sleep gradually draws near, you feel calm, quietly reassured, softly trusting that tomorrow will quietly bring with it new beginnings, gentle opportunities to rebuild, reshape, quietly renew. Tonight, beneath soft moonlight, Rhodes sleeps quietly, preparing gently for the dawn of something new. You awaken softly, gently stirred by the first pale hints of dawn spilling tenderly through your window. For a long, quiet moment, you remain still, eyes closed, savoring the calm silence that wraps around you like a comforting blanket. Gradually, as sleep releases its gentle hold, you become aware once more of yesterday's quiet upheaval. Yet now, a new feeling accompanies the memories, a sense of quiet readiness, an acceptance filled with cautious optimism. Rising slowly from your bed, you place your feet gently upon the familiar coolness of the stone floor, appreciating how its solidity reassures you quietly, anchoring you firmly in the present. The air in your home feels peaceful this morning, softened by the quiet grace of acceptance, tinged subtly with the promise of renewal. Dressing carefully in fresh linen robes, you move thoughtfully toward the doorway and step softly outside. The early morning air greets you gently, cool and fresh, carrying the delicate fragrance of sea and olives, mingled lightly with a faint, earthy scent stirred by yesterday's tremors. You breathe deeply, savoring this moment of quiet calm, sensing that even the breeze seems hopeful, gently whispering promises of renewal. Walking carefully along familiar streets, you notice neighbors slowly beginning to emerge from their homes, quietly preparing for the tasks of the day. Their movements carry quiet dignity, their faces bearing calm determination mixed softly with gentle acceptance. Each shared glance, each quiet greeting exchanged, feels subtly reassuring, reinforcing the gentle strength that has emerged quietly from yesterday's upheaval. As you walk slowly toward the harbor, you observe the soft, deliberate actions of your community. Here, two men carefully clear fragments of broken pottery from the street, placing each piece respectfully aside. Nearby, women gently sweep dust from doorsteps, their movements graceful, precise, infused with a calm purposefulness that softly reflects the city's newfound resilience. Reaching the harbor, You pause thoughtfully, eyes resting upon the fallen Colossus still lying quietly across the shoreline. In the soft morning light, the statue seems peaceful, accepting its fallen form, now quietly harmonizing with the gentle rhythm of the sea. You notice how the waters embrace the bronze figure tenderly, lapping softly against its edges, as though quietly reassuring the statue itself of nature's gentle forgiveness. Nearby, small groups of citizens stand quietly, gazing thoughtfully upon the fallen monument. Their quiet murmurs blend gently with the whispering sea breeze, forming a comforting chorus of shared contemplation. You sense the quiet wisdom arising from their acceptance, an understanding that while permanence may be fleeting, human courage and quiet resilience remain timeless, gently carried forward through each passing generation. Your gaze shifts slowly toward the horizon, noting how the sun now softly breaks above the distant sea, bathing roads in gentle, golden hues. The city itself seems to awaken anew, illuminated tenderly beneath the early morning glow. Buildings, though gently scarred by yesterday's tremors, stand proudly once more, quietly affirming their endurance. The sea shimmers peacefully, its calm surface reflecting the gentle promise of renewal, mirrored quietly within each citizen's heart. You turn your attention again to the fallen Colossus, reflecting deeply on its symbolism. Once a proud guardian, the statue now quietly embodies humility and acceptance, gently reminding all who gaze upon it that strength lies not in resistance to change, but in graceful adaptation. You feel a quiet gratitude toward the fallen guardian, understanding now that even in ruin, it continues softly teaching valuable lessons of resilience and quiet strength. Continuing your slow, thoughtful walk, you notice how carefully and deliberately life resumes around you. Fishermen quietly untangle their nets, preparing gently for another day at sea. Merchants softly restock their stalls, carefully rearranging produce and goods, quietly restoring a sense of normalcy and stability. Each action feels intentional, respectful, quietly reflecting a community united in resilience, gently committed to rebuilding. Pausing near a quiet corner of the square, you watch a craftsman carefully repairing a broken wall. His movements are precise, patient, gently restoring the structure stone by stone. You recognize quiet poetry in his actions, observing how carefully he blends old and new elements together, softly preserving history while creating something quietly renewed. His careful labor echoes the quiet determination now guiding the city forward. As morning deepens gently toward midday, you return thoughtfully to your home, quietly preparing a simple meal, savoring the comforting rituals of daily life. Sitting softly by your window, you gaze outward, observing how quietly the city now moves, calm, purposeful, gracefully adapting to yesterday's quiet transformation. In the gentle hours of the afternoon, you read quietly from familiar scrolls, your thoughts occasionally drifting contemplatively toward the city's future. You sense that Rhodes, though quietly humbled, now carries within it a gentle strength, patiently prepared to rebuild, to heal, to softly reimagine itself once more. As the gentle warmth of afternoon slowly yields to evening's quiet embrace, you step outside again, softly drawn toward the harbor to observe the day's quiet conclusion. The fallen Colossus lies serene beneath the fading daylight, softly illuminated by the final golden rays of sunset. Its tranquil form quietly reminds you again of the city's gentle endurance, softly affirming life's continuous cycle of growth, change, and renewal. Standing quietly beneath the deepening twilight, you observe how gently stars appear in the darkening sky above Rhodes. Their soft glow provides quiet reassurance, gently illuminating the city as night tenderly settles. A profound peacefulness envelops you, quietly confirming your understanding that life, even after quiet upheaval, continues onward, gentle, resilient, endlessly adaptable. You feel quietly grateful to witness this gentle moment, this quiet transformation, understanding deeply now that true strength lies within the community itself, within quiet hearts, gentle hands, and calm spirits prepared to lovingly restore what nature has quietly altered. Returning gently homeward beneath the soft glow of starlight, you prepare quietly for sleep once more, now calmly confident in Rhodes's quiet resilience. Your breathing slows softly, deeply comforted by the profound, gentle understanding of life's constant ebb and flow. The city around you quietly settles into restful stillness, prepared to awaken gently tomorrow to further healing, renewal, and quiet strength. As your eyes softly close, sleep gently claims you, warmly enfolding your spirit with the quiet certainty of new beginnings. Rhodes, beneath the silent night sky, rests gently, calmly awaiting a new dawn filled with quiet promise. Tonight, beneath the gentle watch of countless stars, you know deeply that while change is inevitable, hope endures softly, endlessly, within the quiet resilience of the human heart. You sleep peacefully, knowing quietly that tomorrow's dawn holds gentle possibilities, a quiet renewal of life's endless promise, carefully nurtured beneath the calm skies above your beloved Rhodes.